Good morning, sister.
Hi, good morning.
I am Mary J. Portillo Tacong, currently studying at Agusan College Incorporated, BS Ed student. I would like to conduct an interview with you regarding to my assignment and my subject, social science, in which the topic is all about gender and sexuality. Uh, is it okay with you, sister, to be my interviewee?
Well, it's okay for me. That sounds interesting.
But before that, sister, may I know something about you?
Well, I am Sister Bing of the Missionary Sisters of Mary and currently working with with the children survivors of violence.
Thank you for that short introduction about yourself. So, we may now proceed, sister.
Sure.
What do you think if you heard the words gender and sexuality? What influenced you to have this thought?
Okay, so maybe uh, I will first answer the first question. So, what is it again?
What do you think if you heard the words gender and sexuality?
So, gender and sexuality. Wow, very interesting topic. Well, for me, when we say gender, so it has something to do with cultural meanings attached to being masculine and feminine, which influence personal identities. And also, it has something to do with uh, expectation of the society and community or a certain culture about the role of a male or a female. So, for example, uh, when you are a female, so you should stay at home, you should wear like this or like that, and if you are a male, so you should have uh, a strong body, or what we call this strong profile. You should not cry like that. So for me, that is gender.
How about sexuality, sister?
Sexuality is, for me, it has something to do with sexual attraction, practices, or identity which may or may not align with sex and gender. So when we see sex, biological sex, so it refers to your reproductive organ. And this sexuality is influenced with what we call this sexual identity and sexual orientation. So when we say sexual identity, it has something to do with what you think who you are, what you think about yourself. Are you a man, a woman, a male, or a female? And when we say sexual orientation, it is something to do with how you feel. How you feel. So if you are comfortable with having a man, or um, with having a woman or female as your colleague, so it mauna siya ang a sexual orientation. And also, it has something to do with an upbringing. So, how you raise as a child. So, if your environment at home is more on feminine or more on female, so there might be a tendency that your preference is also female. And for example, if you have no other example is if you have no father image, so there might also a tendency that even you are a female, even you are a girl or a woman, there is a tendency that you will look for a man image or a father image. So there is a tendency that your preference is a man, although you are a woman. So sexuality is, it refers to how you, what is your attraction. Oh, so and that will comes in the heterosexual, the homosexual, the bisexual, or the queer, etc.
So, what influenced you to have this thought?
Well, of course, since this gender and sexuality, it is very related to my course as a social worker, then with my job here at working with the sexually abused children, and also my experiences having with a gay, a lesbian friends.
Wow,
Mm,
that's all, sister.
yes.
Thank you very much, sister. It's very wow and perfect for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary Joy.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Mary J. Portillo Tapong, currently studying at Agusan College Incorporated, BSH student. I would like to conduct an interview with you, ma'am, regarding to my assignment in my subject, Social Science, in which the topic is all about gender and sexuality. Is it okay with you, ma'am, to be my interview?
It would be my honor to be your interview.
But before that, ma'am, may I know something about you?
So, hi, I'm Evangelist A. Sitoy. I'm 21 years old and currently studying Bachelor of Science in Social Work at Caraga State University.
Thank you for that short introduction about yourself, ma'am. So, we will now proceed.
Yeah.
What do you think if you heard the words gender and sexuality? And what influenced you to have this thought?
So, since I am a social work student, this topic is already well known for me since we are tackling a lot of this in seminars and different activities in school. So, what can I say about gender and sexuality is that in all aspects of life and in different places, we can really observe that when we say gender and sexuality, there are we can say na that people or the society has put an expectation that, for example, a man is the responsible for generating incomes and sustaining the needs of the family, while the woman or the wife is expected. That's really in all aspects, like especially in society. Society has put an expectation that women or wives are just to stay at home, take care of the child, and do the chores. And what influenced me is that based on my observation, that's really like obvious. Like you can see, you can observe that women are just like their husband will just say that you cannot do this and that. So a man or those like the men in the society can say that you as a wife you're just to stay at home because you can't do this and that. So that's already a what can we call the husband or the men in the society will just belittle women that women cannot do labors that are only for men. So what comes to my mind when I hear this word gender and sexuality is that the bias responsibilities that the society has put. And since it is everywhere that discrimination on women, despite the fact that the women are discriminated, it is important for us to know our right and power as a woman. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mananaway ko.
What do you think if you heard the words gender and sexuality, and what influenced you to have this thought?
When I hear this sexuality, gender is a very gift of God to each one. Sexuality is the best that God has given us, man and woman. And our being a woman, just as our Mother Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God, is the greatest gift God gives to us, to His people. We are a woman that is full of love, that has the capacity to contain our pains, our sorrow, and the capacity to give joy and life. So we have to thank God for this gift of our person, a woman, the gift of love.
Thank you, sister. Introduce
Sis-
yourself, sister.
I'm Sister Angelita Sarita Baclion, Missionary Sisters of Mary. I'm more than 60 years old as a sister, 60 years as a sister, and 82 years old.
Thank you, sister.